couple of very special guests as we have with us Mike and Paige Harrison. We're talking about Celebrate Recovery, and this is a terrific program, and they are with Trail Christian Fellowship, which we do a lot together, and appreciate you both coming in today because this program is outstanding. Everywhere I hear about it, I hear all thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. So I don't know who's going to be your main spokesperson here, but what is it in essence? What is Celebrate Recovery? Mike?
You want to take that?
Celebrate Recovery is a Christian-based 12-step program. It leads kind of on the drug and alcohol side, but also it covers other areas of problems in life as far as everything from depression, anger, gambling. It can be overeating. It can be childhood trauma. It can be anything that is causing disruption in your life. So we basically help deal with that.
All right. So now you two headed up.
Mm-hmm.
And when do you meet out there? How does this work?
We meet on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Rain or shine. This year was Christmas and New Year's. We were there.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. We have dinner at 6. Meeting starts at 6:30. We typically do either a lesson or a testimony. We switch off on that. And then we break up into issue-specific groups.
Okay, that's where I was going to go. So, and what kind of groups are you guys working with now? All of them, or give us a few?
Well, the bigger churches will have a lot more. We are lucky to have 5. I mean, that's a lot of splitting up for us. We have women's chemical dependency, men's chemical dependency, women's hurts, habits, and hang-ups, which is pretty much almost everything else. Men's hurts, habits, and hang-ups, and then we have women's sexual abuse. We just started that in January.
All right, so how do you get people to come? I mean, you know, we know it's a great program and it works and the testimonies are wonderful, but I would imagine that first step's kind of tough.
It is very tough. We actually have a
friend.
We have a friend that shares that he came several times, circled the parking lot, and went home.
Wow.
Being able to tell people that he had been, but he never came in. It took him a long time to take that step into the door, but once he did, he found out it was a very warm and loving environment, and he also heads up a CR in another church now.
Really?
As well as the Foundations for Recovery.
All right, so, and you're saying, Mike, you cover all the variety of addictions, and which is, to me is huge, because I've done enough with Patrick Doyle to know that anybody can be addicted to anything.
You bet.
You know, and I guess the first step is the admission that you're out of control.
Absolutely.
That is, and thinking you can do it on your own. That goes right in the whole thing of we're not in control of our lives.
Right.
And the best way for us to get any help is through a 12-step program, being around other leaders and other people with the same problems, and with Jesus Christ. You need to have Christ, a good program, and a sponsor, a good sponsor. That's really important.
What's a sponsor? How's that work?
Sponsor is somebody who you will, kind of accountability partner, but somebody who you will call. For instance, our original CR founder at Trail was Steve Hale. Used to be my sponsor.
Right.
And when I was having a bad day, or I needed somebody to talk to, or my struggle was alcohol. If I was having a bad day, I call Steve, and Steve would basically say, "What are you doing? Why? Tell me why you think you need to drink." And of course, and I'm going, I don't need to, do I?
Yeah.
You know, so that's somebody who's going to help you. They're going to be there for you. Somebody you can call anytime, and they're going to be there for you. There's somebody, hopefully somebody with the same issues you're dealing with.
You know, the other thing that's so important here, and you both can speak into this, is that it's an incredible, loving group, and there's no condemnation.
No.
You know, because you think, man, I'm going to go in the church. I already know I'm a bad person. I'm going to go in there and tell them now I'm really a bad person. How do you help people overcome that?
That's really hard. We have had the blessing to be able to get in front of the congregation once a year or so and speak about that, how hard it is, and how, you know, we know that there's people out there that are hurting. And so we can kind of touch base with them a little bit. I also volunteer to cook a lot for all the different ministries at church. So on a one-on-one basis, they all know what I'm all about. So a lot of the other ministry leaders will refer people to us. They'll call on the phone, you know, to ask questions before they come. And then, you know, we make sure that they feel comfortable when they get there.
Does the sponsor bring them on the initial contact?
You don't normally have a sponsor at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if I was working with somebody and I knew you guys were the right answer to this person's life, could I bring him in?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, oh man, even if I have to hand carry him in there, why not?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what do you do? What's the first thing that happens when you bring somebody new? What's the first thing that gets them to think about, I need to stay here?
What do you think?
Mike, what happened to you?
Well, I didn't want to be there. I thought the whole thing was kind of hokey. And
I don't know anybody else that wants to be there.
but you know, I had spent many years in recovery programs and that didn't work because we didn't have any God. Yeah. But you know, this big old goofy guy named Steve one day asked me if I wanted to run the PowerPoint. I'm like, I don't really want to run the PowerPoint. You get people involved. You get them, and make them feel accountable to where they're going. You know, making coffee. It can be anything where they need to be there the next Tuesday. You know, so you can feel a bit of accountability. That helps. But the big thing, they got to want to come. You can't make somebody come. They've got to want to be there, and that's the hard part. Especially when they come and you don't ever see them again.
No, you see some relapses and you deal with it.
You bet.
Absolutely.
And how do you deal with that?
Hug.
Okay.
Big old hug. We still love you.
Absolutely.
Keep doing it.
It happened to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you're both recovering something.
Yes.
And what's this mean to your marriage?
Wow, that's a good question. It was very difficult. Two people in the same household trying to work recovery at the same time. You can be each other's best accountability. You can also be each other's worst friend. Yeah.
A lot of deception going on.
I don't know so much of that, but it'd be like, it'd be really easy to find any excuse to go drink. Hey, our daughter graduated high school. Let's go celebrate. Yeah. You know, so we were like roping each other into it. And it wasn't really until we divided our recovery. Somebody told us that a long time ago, and we thought, are you kidding?
Well, is alcohol the main one? Or, I mean, are you talking prescription drugs? Emotional abuse?
Well, I mean, it's becoming a big one that I'm seeing is prescription drugs.
Absolutely.
But alcohol, drugs,
or both,
methamphetamine. But what I'm loving, we're seeing more of now too, is as people are coming for other issues, and that's the biggest thing, is trying to let people know that this is not just about drugs and alcohol. This can be any of life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups, any kind of a childhood trauma. It can be a lot of things.
You must see some real breakthroughs.
Oh, it's amazing.
It is. Miracles.
Like what? Share one with me quick. Besides yourself.
Well, okay, we have a friend that she's in her early 50s, and in the last year has, through Celebrate Recovery as well as private counseling, had tremendous breakthroughs as far as childhood sexual abuse, which is why we now have a women's abuse group. She leads that up because she didn't have any memories of this at all and didn't know why her life was such a mess. And through private counseling and coming to CR, this all came to light. She's worked through it, and now she's leading other women through working on the same issues.
You said something there that's huge. She had no memory of it.
She had no memory of it.
Was that like a spiritual blackout? I mean that's kind of interesting.
She will share that it was, absolutely.
So God waves.
She will share.
Wow.
That it does not come back to your memory until you're in a position and around people who are able to help you through it.
Now, obviously people walk out of here really connected with God in a new way. What's the first thing they feel when this happens, when the breakthrough comes?
I want to say forgiveness.
That's got to be big.
That's huge. My personal experience with that, I went to treatment at a local facility. We went at the same time simultaneously to two different facilities because we wanted to straighten up our lives. And
were you Christians then?
We had actually both just got baptized that summer, and this was in the fall.
Okay.
So we were very baby Christians, very newly.
But God was kind of gnawing on you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel worthy to ask for forgiveness or for help because of the way I'd been living my life. So when that finally comes, that you feel worthy and that you know you're a child of God and that He loves you no matter what, that is just like, wow. Once people finally get that, I think they have the beginning building block to work on anything.
And I think that's what keeps people from coming. from asking for us because they don't feel they're worthy of forgiveness. I know I didn't. My big joke was always, well, I can't walk into a church because I'll burst into flames.
Yeah.
You know, but finally my sponsor told me that you can be forgiven. And I said, well, I don't even know how to ask. He said, pray about it. So to this day, so what I did was I had Isaiah 1:18 tattooed on my arm. It's a reminder that we can all be forgiven. No matter what we've done, we can be forgiven and have a fresh slate. And like once I got that, it changed my life. So now I want to pass that on to others that you can be forgiven. Just got to ask.
You two are living, walking examples of something I've said over and over of doing broadcasting for over 30 some odd years. Whatever God saves you from or brings you through, He usually turns you around and makes you a minister too.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what you're doing here. All right, let's do a recap here. We're almost out of time. You guys do it on Tuesday nights?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday night. No exceptions. Even Christmas and New Year. That's pretty good. 6:30?
6:30 is when worship starts, but dinner is at 6.
Okay.
No charge.
No charge.
Yeah.
Just come. And if you're working with somebody, should they call you and say you want to bring somebody? Or?
You don't have to, but you certainly can. And we do have childcare, which is important for some people.
Ah, that is big.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's at Trail Christian Fellowship. You can contact them out there at Trail. And Mike and Paige Harrison, they're our two special people here today, and they'll walk you through it. I've heard nothing but good from all of this. Churches that do it, yours, others. Everything about this program is thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks
it's a blessing to be a part of it.
Your smiles are infectious. I love it both, you know. Thanks for coming in. Come again, will you?
Thank you.
We would love to.
All right, we'll see you next time on Focus Today.